Tonight, the fallout from a near rebellion, the chaos in Russia, and what it means for Putin's power. The internal aftermath.
This whole episode has sowed really profound anxiety across Russia's elites.
As Trudeau meets with Nordic leaders in Iceland.
Russia is central to defense and security challenges.
Record-breaking smog in Montreal.
Burns the nose, burns the throat.
The worst air in the world. Cancels events and keeps people indoors. Plus, closing out Pride Month with an epic parade.
We're all human, and I think that's the most important thing.
Canada's largest city puts on a big party.
CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo. Reporting tonight, Heather Wright.
Good evening. The streets in Russia calm tonight after mercenaries called off their march toward Moscow. But the ramifications of that short-lived rebellion could be long-lasting. Locals in Rostov-on-Don, the city briefly occupied by Yevgeny Prigozhin and his soldiers, cheered as the Wagner troops pulled out of town last night. While the insurrection was called off almost as quickly as it began, it is the biggest challenge to President Vladimir Putin's power in decades and is raising new questions about his authority. CTV's Melanie Nagy has more.
In Russia's Rostov-on-Don, tank tread marks are some of the only evidence the southern city was stormed by Yevgeny Prigozhin and his mercenaries. The Wagner Group commander has now been banished to Belarus after sparking a dramatic yet short-lived revolt.
I think for Putin right now, it's a matter of trying to calm the situation.
Not long after Wagner fighters marched towards Moscow, the Kremlin announced a deal that would send Prigozhin into exile without being charged. It was a sudden, abrupt, and confusing end.
The question right now is, what happens to the Wagner Group? What's going to happen to Putin? Because this is severely shaken probably the confidence of many people in Putin's ability to lead.
Early on in the uprising, Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to punish all involved. But like Prigozhin, Wagner fighters will also not be prosecuted.
We see cracks emerging.
Today, the U.S. Secretary of State said the mercenary mutiny raises questions about Putin's power and about the war in Ukraine.
This has been a devastating strategic failure for Putin across virtually every front.
Wagner troops are said to be heading back to Ukraine, where they'll again fight alongside Russian soldiers. In a video addressed to Ukrainians, President Vladimir Zelensky addressed the rebellion and the need for more support in Ukraine from Western nations, including Canada.
The world's power structure.
In Ottawa, while speaking on CTV's Question Period, the Foreign Affairs Minister said the continual support of Ukraine is critical to deterring Russia.
We need to make sure that Ukraine is able to deter Russia, who will still be, after the war, a very dangerous neighbor.
As for Prigozhin, who was once one of Putin's closest allies, it's uncertain what he'll do next and what role, if any, he'll have in Belarus. Melanie Nagy, CTV News, Vancouver.
The fallout of the mutiny in Russia was top of mind for Western leaders, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who is in Iceland for a two-day summit with Nordic nations. CTV's Judy Trin is there for us tonight.
A rainy welcome for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as he meets with Nordic leaders for a two-day summit. Trudeau was invited as a guest to the annual meeting. As the host, Iceland's Prime Minister set the mandate to make the Nordic Council a force for peace.
You're free to go and talk about Iceland and Canada.
The two countries share interests on a range of issues, from environmental protection to geopolitical concerns.
Ourselves and the Americans are the only non-European Arctic nations that aren't Russia. And of course, Russia is central to some of the defense and security challenges.
The issue of Russian aggression loomed over the first day like the country's volcanic islands. Before the Prime Minister even arrived at the meeting site, he took a call from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, who raised concerns about the lack of attention to the threatening situation created by Russia's attack on a hydro dam. Trudeau's first face-to-face was with Finland's leader on a ferry.
Talk about the deep friendship between Finland and Canada.
Canada was the first to ratify Finland's entry into NATO. It has also supported Sweden's entry into the military alliance, which is yet to be approved. The two Nordic countries only applied to join NATO after Russia invaded Ukraine. But there are other security issues that may also come up.
Potentially increasing concerns they may have about China and its intent to expand its interest into the Arctic.
There's a lot to cover on this 36-hour trip. The Prime Minister also wants to discuss with his Nordic counterparts how to better protect the Arctic environment and how to advance human rights together. Judy Trin, CTV News, Westman Islands, Iceland.
One day after that brief insurrection, Russia carried out airstrikes in rebel-held northwest Syria, killing at least 9 people and injuring dozens more. Russian warplanes dropped bombs in villages and towns, sending plumes of smoke billowing into the sky. Emergency workers rushed to rescue the victims as chaos erupted at a busy vegetable market that was also targeted. Tensions have been escalating in the region since Moscow, a top ally of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, has stepped up its attacks. One person is dead and several others injured after a roller coaster accident in Sweden. Police cordoned off a popular theme park in Stockholm today after a car on the Jetline roller coaster derailed, sending several riders plunging to the ground below. Witnesses say the train appeared to jump the tracks before coming to a stop about 8 meters above the ground. 14 people were on the ride at the time. In addition to the one person killed, 9 were injured, including 3 children. A criminal investigation is now underway. The United States Coast Guard is now officially investigating the cause of the deadly Titan submersible implosion.
My primary goal is to prevent a similar occurrence by making the necessary recommendations to enhance the safety of the maritime domain worldwide.
Captain Neubauer will lead the Marine Board of Investigation. Its findings will be shared with international organizations to help improve submersible safety. Canada's Transportation Safety Board began its own investigation last week. There are growing concerns about a rise in anti-LGBTQ2S+ hate, with threats targeting pride festivals across the country. Today, hundreds of thousands of people line the streets in Toronto to celebrate the Pride Parade and stand tall against the vitriol. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Joyful color and joyous smiles as people throng the streets of Toronto for Canada's largest Pride Parade.
Beautiful! This is my first Pride. I'm from Barbados.
It's amazing. It's the best part of the year. It's amazing to do drag here.
40,000 marchers put on a vibrant show as well as a show of solidarity.
To support kids like Isabel, my granddaughter, and all the other families and kids, and to support our 2S LGBTQ plus communities here in the city.
The parade, an opportunity for families and friends to show support for loved ones.
We finally get to celebrate who I am, I guess, so this is awesome.
We just want our son to know how loved he is and supported he is.
This particularly important in a year where Pride Toronto says hate crimes against LGBTQ2S+ people have gone up 40% in Ontario.
Trans kids, queer kids, gay kids, they are being attacked. They're on the front lines of all of this, and they don't get to make any decisions here, so we just want to be here.
In fact, Pride Toronto says growing threats and attacks prompted them to step up security. Federal funding helping with policing and insurance budgets that more than doubled.
With the rise of 2S LGBTQIA+ hate, we need to fight back with joy and love and representation.
Happy Pride!
Phil and Richard have been attending the parade since 1988 and describe the event as both a festive occasion and a reminder.
Anytime you win rights, you can lose rights. So I think it's good that we remember where we've come from, because you never know when we're going to go back. So we always have to fight for what we have.
The parade just one day of the year, but for some it means
everything.
A day to be celebrated for just being yourself. Janice Golding, CTV News, Toronto.
There was also a last-minute political push at Canada's largest Pride Parade on the final day of campaigning for Toronto's top job. A crowded field of 102 candidates are vying to replace former Mayor John Tory. Olivia Chow has been the frontrunner to become mayor since the start of the campaign. But her lead is shrinking after Anna Bilau got a surprise endorsement from Tory. Almost 130,000 Torontonians have marked their ballots in advance voting. Millions of Canadians are living under air quality alerts tonight as thick smoke from raging wildfires blankets much of Ontario and Quebec. In the nation's capital, smog forced the closure of beaches and municipal pools, as well as the cancellation of a number of events. While Montreal today recorded the worst air quality in the entire world. CTV's Olivia O'Malley reports.
Babe, look over here.
Tourists hoping to get a picture with one of Montreal's most iconic landmarks are out of luck. The Olympic Stadium can usually be seen from a distance. Today, it's hidden behind thick clouds of smog due to Quebec's wildfires.
It burns the nose, burns the throat.
According to IQ Air, Montreal has the worst air quality among major cities around the world, followed by Tehran, Jakarta, and Johannesburg. When air quality is this poor, Montreal Public Health says it's important to spend less time outside.
The best thing to do is to stay indoors because there should be less pollution indoors if your windows and your doors are closed.
Stuart Barker expected to cross the finish line at the Mont-Tremblant Half Ironman today.
First thing I did was I opened the blinds and I looked out the window and I noticed that there was like a hazy glow over the mountains of Tremblant.
Shortly after, the race was canceled due to smog, sending more than 3,000 athletes home, many who had traveled far to compete. The group Couply World Triathlon in Montreal also canceled its event, and Côte-Saint-Luc closed its outdoor public pools due to smog. Laval, Longueuil, Brossard, and Montreal followed suit. Meantime, downtown, many shoppers chose to protect themselves from fine particles by wearing N95 masks.
We feel bad for the folks that are actually in the fire areas. You know, this is just an inconvenience.
Quebec is currently experiencing an unprecedented forest fire season, the worst in recent years, and this is just the beginning. There could be more smoky summer days ahead. Olivia O'Malley, CTV News, Montreal.
New tech is planting new hope for the Amazon rainforest. A project in Peru is using robotics to germinate the jungle much more quickly than human hands could manage. CTV's Bill Fortier explains.
In the huge and wild jungles of the Amazon, deforestation is taking a bite out of nature. This Peruvian climate researcher says the region's economy hasn't changed in half a century. Industry clear-cutting rainforest that's critical to biodiversity and combating climate change.
At this point, they have advanced technology. They can destroy so much.
When it comes to reforestation efforts, it's hard to match the speed of the logging industry, at least for humans. This small robot represents a new hope in Peru. It can plant hundreds of new trees in just hours. Once the saplings are big enough, trained rangers take them out and rejuvenate the jungle. The project is a joint venture between the conservation group Jungle Keepers and Swedish company ABB Robotics. The initiative is also planting employment opportunities for locals in Puerto Maldonado, a regional Peruvian capital where the logging industry is one of the biggest employers.
So they, instead of doing farmer or logger, so we invite to the local communities, they train with us, and they be a ranger.
But even at the speed of science, restoring what humans have spent centuries destroying will take time.
To have again a healthy stand forest is going to take about, I would say, between 20 and 30 years.
That estimate is just for this one region of Peru. For the greater Amazon rainforest, even if efforts escalate, researchers say it could take more than a century. Bill Fortier, CTV News, Edmonton.
Coming up, a journey of learning.
We have just begun the truth-telling as communities.
The monumental task of remembering. Plus, scary moments aboard a massive cruise ship. Terrifying moments for passengers on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship docked in Florida when a sudden freak storm delayed their voyage. This is what it looked like when rain and intense winds whipped up lounge chairs and umbrellas into the air onto decks, passengers ducking from fallen debris as they ran for cover. Luckily, the storm was brief and no one was seriously injured. A Winnipeg boy is recovering tonight after being mauled by a coyote. Police and conservation officers tracked this coyote today in the area where yesterday's attack happened, though it's unclear if it's the same animal who chased the 9-year-old and his sister. Officials say the pair were out walking when the animal grabbed hold of the boy. A neighbor heard screaming and chased the coyote away. The boy was taken to hospital where he received stitches in his head. A powerful journey across British Columbia for a monument symbolizing a horrific legacy in this country. A master carver diligently designed haunting artwork meant to start conversation about residential schools and the countless children who never made it home. CTV's Ben Milger explains.
Loaded onto a Canadian Coast Guard hovercraft in Victoria's Inner Harbor, this 5.5-meter pole begins the next leg of its journey across the Salish Sea and under the Lionsgate Bridge with a Navy escort. It is the vision of Kwakwaka'wakw artist Stanley Hunt, a master carver from Port Hardy, who says he felt compelled to create the tribute after learning of the 215 possible unmarked children's graves at the site of the former Kamloops Indian residential school.
You couldn't put words together in any language anywhere in the world to make this make sense.
The monument took a slow journey down Vancouver Island, making several stops so local First Nations could perform ceremonies to honor the missing children.
We have just begun the truth-telling as communities.
Many residential school survivors, like Betty Sinclair, remember children who mysteriously disappeared at the institutions.
I am a survivor from the St. Michael's Residential School in Lower Bay. I was there for 4 years, and all the children that were lost, I just wanted to be here.
A raven sits atop the carving, and beneath it, dozens of children's faces, each one unique.
Just as all those children had different stories and different faces and different characters.
The Canadian Coast Guard provided the truck that carried the pole the length of the island and the hovercraft that ferried it to Vancouver.
It's a journey that won't end. It's a journey with a story that needs to be told, and we're just happy to facilitate some of that.
The pole is already drawing curious onlookers and sparking important conversations, which is exactly what Hunt intended.
They needed to have a voice. They needed to become who they might have become without this happening to them.
The search for a permanent home for the memorial is still underway. In the meantime, it has provided a focal point for Canadians to reflect on the true history of this country as we mark National Indigenous History Month. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead, the slippery slope of playground politics. How a slide became the center of a neighborhood fight. A Vancouver jungle gym is at the center of a playground dispute between parents and neighbors. At issue, a much loved and much despised slide and whether it's too noisy. Sinjin Alexander explains.
This is a story about playground politics, or a slippery slope if you like, and what used to lie right there at one of Vancouver's newest parks located downtown at Smythe and Richards, where children sound like children should. The adults are making noise about something that's suddenly gone quiet.
It sounded like a little bit of a roll. It really wasn't that noisy of a slide.
This roller slide that opened to much fanfare was a big hit with the kids. But it turns out all the spin was just too much for neighbors to take.
But then they would also be off-put by the noise of all the children playing in the park, because this is noisy.
Here's a similar slide in Seattle. Now, if we're all quiet, we might be able to hear it.
It seems sad to me that at a playground you expect some noise.
But the city of Vancouver has received so many complaints, it's since slipped away.
Kind of bent over backwards to really appeal to a group of cranky people that, I don't know.
The Vancouver Park Board says don't blame us or the children. Instead, the very big kids, possibly drunk, who run up the slide at night.
And what's that causes is the roller slides to actually punch through the frame. So we've had a lot of issues with the bearings, and that's created a lot of the noise issues that we've seen.
In fact, the board has been trying to find a solution, even pleading with the manufacturer for a fix. But in the end, it had to go.
It's really that misuse during hours when you might not have the younger kids in the playground.
I think we are forgetting about all of the people who love this park and enjoyed the slides, and we should be listening to them too.
In hopes of a smoother ride and to cut down on all the fuss, a traditional slide will glide into its place, hoping that doesn't go downhill too. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
After the break, lifting the lid on dementia, navigating the ups and downs after a life-altering diagnosis. We leave you tonight with a true love story between a Victoria couple coping with Alzheimer's. After the devastating diagnosis, they picked up a new hobby, vowing to continue their adventurous life together and keep moving forward. Here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
You don't care a feather or a fig.
Jeff and Marge are in the midst of an unexpected journey.
Hello, guys.
Which began in a garage surrounded by mementos from an adventurous life.
Yeah, there's a little bit of this and that.
A backpack covered in badges collected round the world to replicas of what exploded while working during the Gulf War.
What Saddam was firing at the hospital when we were there.
Well, Jeff says being a paramedic at a Saudi military hospital was exhilarating. Meeting Marge there proved life-changing.
Well, just like she is now, she's a looker.
Marge was his well-respected boss.
She's tough as nails.
And Jeff was her guy who got things done.
But then I got to know him, and I thought it was even nicer.
Which led to a vacation in Thailand.
While we were swimming in the moonlight on the beach,
Jeff proposed, and Marge answered.
I said yes, I would like to.
3 decades after they both said I do, Jeff and Marge survived countless conflicts overseas before facing unexpected adversity at home.
What's that old Churchill thing? When you're going through hell, keep going.
So after Marge was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, Jeff bought this trike.
You play the cards you dealt, right, babe? And we're making the best of things. Wing on a star.
Accompanied by a soundtrack of songs from her youth and sporting a helmet Marge designed for herself, the couple embark on daily trike rides around the region.
We call it People TV.
Because cycling through various neighborhoods feels like switching to different channels.
It's just a fun thing to do.
But the best thing, after a career of saving lives, is raising the spirits of the people they pass.
Hi. Hello.
And ensuring that although memories are fading, this adventurous love story keeps moving forward.
I do love him. Yeah, I do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
What a love story indeed. That is it for us tonight. I'm Heather Wright. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Omar Sachedina will be here tomorrow. Have a good night.